Cheryl? Is that Cheryl? Where are you going? Hey, wait! Stop! What is this? What's going on here? Was I dreaming?
How do you feel?
Oh, like I've been run over by a truck. But I'm all right, I guess.
Glad to hear it. You from around here? Why don't you tell me what happened?
Wait a second, I'm just a tourist. I came here for a vacation. I just got here. I don't know what happened. I'd like to find out myself.
Uh-huh.
Have you seen a little girl? Just turned 7 last month, short black hair. My daughter.
Sorry. The only person I've seen in this town is you.
Where is everybody?
I'd tell you if I knew, believe me. But from what I can tell, something bizarre's going on. That's all I know. What's your name?
Harry. Harry Mason.
Sybil Bennett. I'm a police officer from Brams, the next town over. Phone all did, and the radio too. I'm going back to call in some reinforcements. Hold it. Where do you think you're going?
My daughter. I've got to find her.
No way. It's dangerous out there.
In that case, I need to find her now. Cheryl's my little girl. I can't just leave her out there by herself.
Have you got a gun?
No.
Take this. And hope you don't have to use it. Now listen to me. Before you pull the trigger, know who you're shooting. And don't do it unless you have to. And don't go blasting me by mistake. Got it?
Yeah, thanks.
You do best to stay nearby. I'll be back with help as quick as I can.
What's that? Huh, radio. What's going on with that radio? This is not a dream. What's happening to this place?
Hey Brian, what's up? The main reason why I don't speedrun this game is that I haven't played it in a very, very long time. So I don't remember all the places by heart anymore. So you might see a lot of the map screen still. I could have killed the motherfuckers, but I really didn't want to spend the resources, especially those actually respawn.
Isn't this Cheryl's sketch?
That house is pretty much where we want to go, but we need to try to get to school first to get the prompt for the keys. That prompt. Okay, no, I remember now. Okay, I like exploring a lot to get uh, more supplies and stuff. So that's one of the other reason why I don't really speed run this game. I could finish it in like 3 hours back a day. No, I can't anymore. Probably on my best estimates, I think I can finish it in 4 hours. Not better, because if not, I'm gonna be here all night. Okay, so said there should be some cool things here. Okay, the funny thing about classic survival horror games, when you compare Resident Evil to Silent Hill, I do think Silent Hill has a better combat system. The funny thing is that Harry, he's not a combat trained person. He's not like on Resident Evil you have Chris and Jill, they are cops, and Leon is a cop too, and Claire, although she's not a cop, she was trained by her brother. So you expect they have at least the ability to move and shoot. And Harry's a much better shooter, and he can actually move and shoot with very good precision. Actually, I used to think that that's kind of funny. Okay, so this is where the cafe is. So I mentioned a few more earlier. I do not remember locations by heart, so I still got a little lost. Freaking birds are really annoying. Okay. Well, at least we got some bullets. Also, I mean, it is much more plentiful here. So it is not. You get more chances to kill enemies here than what you get on Resident Evil, for example. And enemies are less resilient. And once you get guns like the shotgun or Once you get the hammer, it gets really, really easy. Oh my god. I really don't like the fucking birds. My biggest problem with the fucking birds is that they respawn, so you cannot actually clear the streets of them. They will just come back. So it's mostly a waste of ammo, but sometimes you got to actually defend yourself. So dogs, at least the ones that are in your way to get items, they do not. So it's a good idea to kill them. Besides, you can just kill them like 2 well-placed shots or 3 shots the most. But fucking birds, they're just annoying. Then something that was really genius about this game is that was a radio, because okay, I already got this key. The fuck. Okay, what I was saying before these fuckers interrupted me. It is very well known. It's a very well known fact that about limitations that forced Team Silent to get creative when making this game. There's a lot of things that are very ingenious, or very clever. For example, the use of the radio. The thing is, because of the memory of the PS1, they could not render long view distances with this engine, so they had to resort to other means to convey danger and enemies nearby and stuff. So the thing about the radio is that one, the sound that it makes is very unnerving, because it's not. I don't know if it was intent. Well, it was of course intent like that, but I don't know if the sound they chose for the radio itself was intentional. They just picked up that sample somewhere, but it's very, very unnerving, and it's very stressful. It is very stressful to just hear the radio and not being able to hear the enemy, and then you hear the birds flapping and stuff. That's very unnerving, especially on more claustrophobic places. That's what I was talking about. See, like I killed that fucking bird and it respawned. That's why it's a waste of time to actually kill him. So that's one of my favorite parts of this game. This actually, I wouldn't say my favorite PlayStation 1 game, but it's one of my favorite PlayStation 1 games, that's for sure. But this is one of my I can say it's my favorite horror game series. series. Well, it has fallen a lot now with stupid Konami's focus on pachinko machines and shit and not gaming. So, but this used to be a very big deal for me back in the day. I used to adore Silent Hill. So I've beaten all the games up to Origins. I didn't play after Origins. I kind of got disheartened, and then when I saw what they did with Homecoming, I just didn't really want to follow up. So I fell off the series then on the PlayStation 3 era. I didn't play Downpower. I didn't play the garbage Shattered Memories. Just the concept of it pisses me off. I did play and I did like a lot PT, and I was really excited about the Silent Hills project. But we all know the story now, and just if you don't know, the brief of it is that Hideo Kojima, the Metal Gear director and one of the best, if not the best game designer in Japan, is making the newest entry for Silent Hill. And then some shit happened with Konami, so they cut ties with Kojima in the worst way, and canceled the game. And if anyone has a chance to play PT on the PS4, you probably understand why. So many people got very disappointed and disheartened, because it's a masterpiece. Just a little teaser demo is a masterpiece. Sadly, unless you downloaded it and kept it on your hard drive when it was available back in the day on 2007, 2014, you could be able to play it. If not, you're pretty much out of luck and you cannot play it anymore. Because Konami being fuck-offs like they have been the past few years, they just didn't allow it to stay on the store. So now you cannot download it. Even if you had already downloaded, once you erase it off your hard drive, you pretty much revoke. You don't revoke your license, but it is not hosted on Sony's server anymore, so you can get it. I backed it up, so I have been able to keep it since then. So if you're interested, guys, I can stream it on another day. We can do a little. You can even do a little Resident Evil retrospective. I mean, Silent Hill retrospective. I already set up Silent Hill 2 on PC with a really cool mod that makes the game closely to the PlayStation 2 version, which is the vet of the box, but running on modern machines and up to 4K resolutions and stuff. So if I can finish this tonight without falling asleep, I'll probably do Silent Hill 2 next week, so keep an eye on that. Maybe because Sekiro is out next week, so I might be playing Sekiro. And I'll also stream Sekiro. I'm very hyped about that game. So also, if you're interested in seeing that, just leave a like or a comment. This. Also, I was talking about a little bit about the game, the design of the game, some of the quirks of the game design. The funny thing is, a lot of the workarounds that Team Silent used to make the game were because of limitations. That's a pretty well-known fact. So unless you are not really into game history and stuff, you might not know that. But yeah, the reason why the game is so buggy and the radio and all that is because the PlayStation 2 memory wasn't capable to to load big chunks of the levels at once. So and the thing that is different from Resident Evil, for example, is that this game is fully 3D. Everything is 3D on an in-game engine. I mean, on a fully 3D engine. So nothing is pre-rendered like in Resident Evil 2. The game had some 3D. Of course, it had a bunch of 3D elements rendered. I mean, loaded, but not all of them were rendered. The backgrounds, everything were just 2D pictures that were rendered on server farms just before being put on the game. And the actual 3D objects on the game, besides the enemies, I mean enemies and the characters, are opaque, so they could not be seen. So they didn't use as much memory as let's say Silent Hill, that everything is pretty much 3D rendered. And even then it couldn't load big levels. If you remember the screen, the door transitions on Resident Evil were because the game needed to load the room that you were coming in. It was pretty fast. I mean, it just took a couple seconds. So it did load them very fast, but still it had to load them. It couldn't load them all at once. And Silent Hill doesn't have that many loading screens, but the game is rendered, or the visuals are rendered in very, very small chunks, and that's why the game is so foggy. So part of the one of the most important parts of the atmosphere of the game was just because of gameplay limitations. Something that Silent Hill 2 didn't have, actually. They had a much better engine. They had much more budget, so they could do a better game. I mean, they could go around a lot of these limitations, but many of the quirks of the game were just because our direction decisions. So, but we'll talk about Silent Hill 2 once we go through it. That game, I cannot deny, I think, is a game that actually set the standard or the bar for horror games. Fuck off. It's pretty much the very definition of fight or flight situation, and I am choosing to flight. The thing is, and my biggest problem with the fucking birds is that if you choose to run just as I'm doing, and they continue chasing you, and even the school, you don't get attacked for more than 3 enemies at once. So they are more manageable. But here on the streets, if you keep some of them, especially during the night sections, are way more fucking resilient. So they actually don't don't get the hint and they continue just chasing you. I think they should upload, so I should be free or it should be clean if I get off now. So yeah, last week that I was playing, I was fighting more, and I still got a lot of supplies. So I could still be fine if I decide to fight, but honestly, I just don't want to waste time with these fuckers. Also, something that is very well agreed upon is the fact that this game has a masterpiece or masterclass sound design by the legendary and my favorite game composer came of all time, Akira Yamaoka. So a lot of the I personally believe 70% of the atmosphere, the scary atmosphere, the creepy atmosphere of this game is due the music and the sound design. I mentioned about the bit about the radio, how the radio keeps you on your toes all the time. But just the music design and the environmental music and the environmental sounds are a freaking masterclass. So anyone who's interested into game design, please study the work of Yamaoka in this game, because it's pretty much the best. I don't think just between 1 and 2, Silent Hill 1 and 2, a little bit of 3, they are probably the best design when it comes to sound environment. Okay, this is a place we gotta come back way later, almost halfway through the game, so we'll just don't bother. We won't bother continue exploring, or maybe yes. No, we will explore that later on. We'll just go to school. There's something funny that happened to me actually last time that I played. I don't remember if I knew or I just straight up didn't know, but there's a save point over here on this school bus. Oh shit. Okay, so I'm gonna kill these guys, if not they're gonna be prowling. Yeah, so here on the school bus there's a save point. I know most of you who played this game probably knew that, but and I don't remember if I remember or I never knew it. And I probably been in this game like 12, 13 times, but I never cared to press X. I didn't know that I was this close to die. That was hardcore. That is one thing that I think Resident Evil did better than Silent Hill. The feedback, the character feedback. There is no, unless you get into the menu, there is no way for you to tell that your character is actually hurt. So yeah, you can get blindsided. And in Resident Evil, starting Resident Evil 2, your character limped and stuff. Okay, so okay, this is another trivia fact that you guys might know, might not know. Um, this school was inspired by some, like, the most random piece of media that you could imagine. It was inspired, the school design was inspired by a 90s movie, a 90s Schwarzenegger, Arnold Schwarzenegger movie called I don't remember the name in Spanish, not in English. Kindergarten Cop, a comedy show, not even a horror movie or action, not even an action movie. He had action in it, but it wasn't an action. It was actually comedy. So yeah, posters, the school layout, and the overall look of it is based on an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, which is funny because this is personally, besides the place at the very end, and a location on PlayStation and Silent Hill 2, this is the creepiest place, and I think this is the creepiest place for me on the series because this is probably a place that you wouldn't associate with demonic shit going on. Okay, so here I do combat way more because you do way more backtracking here than you do on the streets. So the main reason why I didn't battle on the streets as much is because I wanted to keep ammo for these fuckers. Same goes for the hospital. The thing is, when you're on the actual levels, the actual dungeons, let's call them, you do need to fight more because you backtrack more and places are more claustrophobic, more cramped. So yeah, I do combat a little bit more. And speaking, I was talking just about talking about Yamaoka's work. I personally think it is the best, the place with the best. I mean, where you know the sound design is safe is this fucking courtyard here. That music, the music that is playing right now, and the fact that it's a big open space without just two regular enemies, but still, this place is where I think he nailed it. He got the whole mood of how the game should sound, how the environmental sounds should play into the whole horror or the whole feeling of the game. It was here on this courtyard because there's a lot of places afterwards that do the same thing. They're just like rooms without enemies that have creepy sounds or just droning sounds and stuff. But they are not. I mean, this is the first one that you come across. And knowing a little bit of how game design works, I'm pretty sure this was the last level they made. The school was the last level they made. You can correct me if I'm wrong. So pretty much I'm pretty sure Yamaoka-san got it designed that room specifically, knowing how the whole game played out in the end. So yeah, that's this was actually remember back in the day. This was the that was the play this whole game to me. I'm always into horror things. I like horror movies and stuff. So when I was a huge fan of Resident Evil. That's the main reason why I jumped over from Nintendo to PlayStation, was because of Resident Evil 3 or Resident Evil 1 actually. So when I learned about Silent Hill, I was really freaking hyped. This was one of the games that I've been the most hyped about ever. I remember back in the day, back in 97, 98, 98. It was pretty freaking cool. So yeah, guys, it's pretty fucking scary. Once you know a little bit of how the game works and stuff, some of the magic goes away. For example, knowing simple stuff, just like knowing how many shoots you need to down an enemy, and how the level layout works and stuff. And for example, how to trick the AI into doing some things and stuff. A little bit of the magic goes away. But yeah, the game is scary still. And the thing is, it is scary because the game is well directed. It's designed to be scary. It is not like for example, some of the most modern horror games, they are designed to be video games first and horror stories later. So okay, one of my favorite things about this level, and you'll see it in a moment, is I won't spoil it if you haven't seen it. But all of you who have played it, actually you'll see it here for the first time. These little fuckers. They are little ghosts. They do nothing. They actually don't hurt you. They run away from you. Most likely are kids that are tormented by the main villain of the game, which I will not reveal in case that you haven't played the game. But they do nothing. They just scare you. They just trigger the radio. Because again, the scariest thing in this game is not the enemies. It's not even the darkness and the lack of visibility, or this you have this guy's name, I don't remember the name. The main guy, the bad guy on Silent Hill 4, also just wandering the levels, but nothing like these kids, nothing like the ghost kids. Okay, one other quirk of the game of Silent Hill, of the whole series. In fact, not only Silent Hill 1, all of the series, is the doors. You find a lot, and I'm talking about a 60% to 40% ratio of locked doors. And that to me is pretty scary. Yeah, to this day. To this day, I am very scared on horror video games I get really creeped out when you go to places where the the roads are either blocked by debris, especially debris placed by people, or locked doors. And I think that was genius. That was another genius stroke, another stroke of genius by Team Silent, because that's something that you would expect. It's something very normal and very common. The fact that you can just open doors, but when you are, especially when you're being chased around and being attacked or or going on through this spooky situation or this fucked up situation, a very human instinct or very common human instinct would be to look for refuge. But the thing is, you go about the place and everything you find are locked doors. So that, to me, triggers some like very primal fear on people's brains. Like there's no place to hide, or or the sense of hopelessness, the sense of this despair. So yeah, that's on and that's the thing about this game. I mean, very differently from Resident Evil. Resident Evil plays more on horror tropes, and they're very good at it. Actually, yeah, Resident Evil 7 is one of the best games when it comes to using horror tropes masterfully. But they play a lot with horror tropes like the unkillable assailant and zombies and monsters and stuff like that, evil corporations and stuff. But this game plays more into more primal fears, like fear of the unknown and fear of and plays more into claustrophobia, like phobias, like things that are just scary by human nature or human nature, like the sense of despair, hopelessness, fear of the unknown. That's probably why people start calling it psychological horror, because that's, even though it's very common nowadays with all those walking simulator games and stuff, calling games psychological horror, back at the day that was a term that wasn't used, at least not in games, not that I recall. In fact, not that I recall whatsoever. Movies weren't called like that, books weren't called like that. Silent Hill was probably the first piece of media that I recall being named psychological horror, and it was because it played on those more, of course, obviously, psychological fears. I'm sorry, I just like to have everything marked. So sorry for this little backtracking. Yeah, I place more on those primal fears, fears of some subconscious fears that are hardwired into our brains. So that's why I remember when people just talk about Silent Hill back in the day, they called it psychological horror. Like here, for example, there is a girl crying. So, but you cannot interact with anything. So what was that? You'll think like, oh, so what's up here? And this room is nothing. It's just that. It's just like a gag. There's a story. There's a story behind. So there's a reason why there's the cry there, but you don't know that. Actually, it takes a few games and playthroughs and stuff to actually understand a lot of what's happening here, including why there's a girl crying there. Okay, so I think we can go either way, or we can just go down there. And if I remember correctly, upstairs is just the ceiling. I mean the rooftop, so there should be nothing. Probably there. Oh yeah, I need to go there, but later, not now. Yeah, see. I hear the music intensified. We got the playground music again. And the thing is, there is nothing but this chemical. Nothing there. There is no enemies. There is no scary and creepy things. Just that chemical. But wait, could that chemical mean something? So no, it's just part of a puzzle. So there is no reason why there should be scary sounds. Although now they spawn enemies. This hallway was empty before, and now it spawn enemies. So another very well designed scene. And it's more evident when you come from the other side, because when you come from the other side, you actually do realize there are no enemies on that hallway. And if I remember correctly, we'll use this here. The chemical, we'll use it there. Okay, I'm going to adjust the settings a little bit. I am playing on the PlayStation Classic, the PlayStation Mini, with the Blim Sync hack, because the game wasn't loaded. Wasn't loaded by default for some reason. It wasn't loaded on the console, but I loaded it. I own it legally, so I am entitled to load it into a place more convenient for me to play it. So I am just going to adjust some settings, because I just realized that the smoke, some of the transparencies are dither, and that's because I have interlace mode enabled. So I'm going to disable it. So you're just gonna see some boring stuff, but it's fine. I'm not using save states or anything. I'm playing fair and straight, and I do own the game. I own it physical, and I own it on PSN. So I am not cheating anyone. I pay my fare. So yeah, it looks. It still looks dither, but it looks smoother as well. It should be running right now at 480p, I think. If you're good enough, you can actually beat them with a pipe. Although my recommendation is actually shoot them, because with a pipe you're gonna get hurt once or twice. And I think we cannot enter this room. Yeah, we need a key for that. It's another classroom hallway. Then we have I think it's there are ghosts here, no enemies. So there was nothing, and if you see, check this out. There is nothing special about this room. There is nothing that helps me solve a puzzle. It is the door is locked, and if you come the way we came through, you will always look through that door, and you will always realize it's locked, and it'll go to the back of your mind and be like, hey, is there something special about that door? There's nothing special about that door. There's nothing special about that room specifically. Not here. Later there will be, but not now. But still, like, it just piques your brain. It's like, so what's the reason the door was locked? There was no reason. There was just something to pique your curiosity and be like, hey, dude, we need to go back here. There's probably something important here, but there's nothing. That's something the game does very smart. I mean, again, this is probably between Silent Hill 1 and 2. This is probably the you will find them. When I was taking classes for game design back in the day, we actually went through Silent Hill 2 and we studied some of the things on that, some of the design decisions and stuff in that game, directorial decisions and stuff, and these two games are probably some of the best that you can look for that if you want to know how to design, to make well designed levels, how to create good atmosphere, how to use from gameplay limitations to hardware limitations to your advantage and stuff like that. These two games are masterclass. So only for if you haven't played it, I cannot imagine anyone, not even even with non-gamers, I can't imagine anyone just not playing these games or that don't know about these games. So, but if you haven't, just for the sake of understanding how a well-designed game works, I highly recommend you to play them. Some people will say they have not aged very well. I disagree. I actually think these have aged much better than Resident Evil, the OG Resident Evil games. So they're really playable today. So I highly recommend you picking up the game. If you still have a PlayStation 3, you can buy it on PSN as a PlayStation Classic. So I highly recommend. Even if you don't, you can just buy it on the PSN store and just keep it there, because you can play it on a PlayStation Vita or on other devices. So highly recommend it. Okay, this room is another gag room, and this is a gag and two parts. So I'm just going to adjust my volume a little bit. But it's a gag in two parts. just remember this room for when we come back to it. Okay, so that's pretty much the gag. You open the locker, the cat, and then the cat gets killed by the little fuckers down there. So, but there's still, the thing is, there's still some sense of normalcy. At least it's like, okay, there's this police cop. There's at least normal beings. There are monsters, and the place is deserted, and all of a sudden all roads are cut off, phones are off and stuff. But at least there's some sense of normalcy. There are other living beings here besides these monsters, these creatures. Just remember that, because we'll get back to that room later. And that's when you realize that things have gone to shit. Okay, so this is a very, very famous room, and I have a story about this. So first, in order to open this, we need to put the medallion that I got from the statue, and I need to come all the way back. So we're gonna do a little bit of backtracking. Don't worry, it's fast because we have already unlocked some of the closer routes, so we should be able to go fast. But yeah, we'll do a little bit of backtracking. On the meantime, let me tell you a story. That's a very infamous puzzle right there. I'll explain the details of the puzzle once we get to it. But the thing is, the first time that I played this game, that's why I haven't gone before. Okay, just before. Oh fuck. One more. I'm gonna try to kill him with a pipe. Let's see if I can kill him with a pipe, because I have spent a lot of ammo already. Okay, the very first time that I played this game, back in 1999 or 2000, don't remember. I don't remember exactly when. It was, I was 15, 16 years old. It was at my uncle's house, my cousins. They are huge PlayStation fans to this day. Shout out to them. The very first time that I played this game was with them at their house. I used to come visit and play PlayStation with them because I didn't own mine. I didn't own one. I had an N64 back then. I was pretty fascinated about the PlayStation. So anyways, the thing is, we played that game together, and we got stuck there for 1 or 2 weeks. We got stuck in that puzzle for 2 weeks. At the moment, my uncle knew some English. English is not my first language, as you can tell by my accent. I didn't speak English. I had played and finished Final Fantasy VI anyways in Chrono Trigger, but I didn't speak English back then very well, so I didn't understand shit. And the thing is, even though now it's not that complicated, I might fail the puzzle a couple times, but still, it is not that complicated. It's something that you can actually solve easily if you just put a couple neurons to work. But back in the day, we couldn't because we didn't understand. We don't understand the poem, and we'll go through the puzzle together. And just not a little bit. Once I put the medallion and save. But yeah. So we got stuck for 1 or 2 weeks there because we didn't speak English. So we didn't understand the puzzle. We couldn't resolve it. See, like here, like you enter every time. I already know there are no enemies because I killed them, and I know no new enemies spawn this area. But still, like I get very jumpy because I cannot see shit, and I can just hear the banging of whatever is making that noise. the music, right? So that's that's why I'm saying this place is genius when it comes to building atmosphere, just scaring people by atmosphere. And you don't have no crazy guy following you. You don't have no crazy uh, hiding mechanics or some shit of those poser, boring walking simulator games that we have nowadays. This is pure gaming bliss, pure gaming bliss, and pure um, gaming joy. So sorry, it is just a tick. I use the map a lot. I mentioned it earlier that I do not. One of the reasons I don't speedrun this game is because I still don't know everything by heart, even though I've beaten this game like for probably 10, 12 times. But the last time that I played it was a couple of weeks ago, just when I set up the PlayStation. I got as far as the hospital. Uh, but since then, I haven't play. I had not played this game since probably 2003. So yeah, that's why I don't remember a lot of shit. So anyway, so yeah, we got stuck for 2 weeks. We got stuck for 2 weeks trying to resolve that puzzle, and it took us everyone's brain power to resolve it. For first, the thing is, the very first thing that we had to work together to solve was the actual meaning of the fucking thing, because we can understand the poem. The thing is, and we'll walk together again. As I mentioned, we'll walk together through the game, through the puzzle, so you'll understand better. But the thing is, we didn't understand the fucking meaning of the thing. So the very first thing we had to go through was actually figuring out what the fucking poem was talking about. And after that, once we knew that, then we had to go through the puzzle itself and try to solve it. So yeah, and that's one of my most cherished gaming memories, or memories in general, not gaming related, because that happened during a very difficult time of my life. That's when my dad had passed away recently, and my mom had to leave the country for reasons. So we're pretty lonely, and I spent a lot of time with my aunt and uncle back in the day. I don't do that much anymore, but so yeah, that was pretty much the only family I had here. So that's why, and that's one of the reasons why this game is also one of my favorite games, because it brings back a lot of good memories, cherished memories, not necessarily good, but cherished memories. Okay, so yeah, the very first thing is, we didn't know what this meant, so now it's easy. I understand poetry in English, so that's a doozy. So okay, so the puzzle. So what it is okay. Before we go through the poem, we'll check the piano. Okay, so before we enter this room, and the piano was closed, right? So now that we open now that we put the medallion on the tower, the clock tower, the clock itself moved. So when it moved, or time moved, when time moved, this thing opened. So now the next medallion that we want to collect is here. Alright, so what we have is a piano with some keys that play and some keys that don't play. Alright, so we got keys that play, mute keys that just play normally. Alright, so that's important. Okay, so we know that we have some keys that play, some keys that don't play. So now we go to the music sheet. which is the next thing that you'll do when you see the normal thing, or the first thing that will come to mind will you see music sheet with blood, right? So you go read, see what the blood is saying. Okay, so okay, I'm just going through my Facebook notifications because I want to make sure that I respond to every message. Feel free to leave comments, guys, if you come and check out the video. Feel free to leave comments. I'm still a little microphone shy. Normally I'm not. I am more fluent and verbose when Charlie's with me, when we're talking about things. So I hope I kept you guys entertained. But yeah, please come on and leave comments and stuff. I'm reading them. It is tanking my internet connection because I have some really crappy ass upload speeds. So that's why the quality of the video also kind of sucks. But it's fine because it kind of gives the feeling of a CRT video from back in the day, or how the game, regardless of how crappy it looks on your Facebook page, it objectively looks better to what it looked like back in the day on a CRT monitor. They were 2040p, and I am rendering the video at 720. So and Facebook is posting it at 480. So it's objectively looks better, but yeah, I can give you some nostalgic feels. But yeah, I'm reading. I'm trying to read the comments. So yeah, please feel free and leave. At least come up and say hi. I'm not expecting everyone to stay with me all night long. I might, even though I want to really finish the game in one set, I might not, because it's already almost midnight here. So if I can finish it within the next 3 hours, I'm just gonna go sleep. So yeah, and I'll continue tomorrow. All right. So okay, back to the puzzle. So we had a keyboard, a piano with some keys that play, some keys that don't play, right? So and then we have this poem. Okay, this poem is talking about birds. All right. So things that we need to pretty much put together are birds and the piano. All right, so we had the first paragraph is talking about, or the first verse is talking about a pelican, a greedy pelican that goes first. All right, then it's telling us about a dove. All right, a dove that is flying as far as it could. Okay, so that's important. We first we know that there's a pelican. Then they're talking about a dove that is as far as possible. All right, so the next is talking about a raven that flies comes in. So the third bird that the poem is talking about is a raven that is flying just above the dove. All right, so just forget about the rest, because that's fluff. And if you really stagger or really focus on the rest of the poem, you're gonna get stuck. So just focus on what birds go first and what goes second, and the color of the birds. That's what we're looking for. Okay, and then we have a swan. Swan is a white bird. Okay, that is flying next to another bird. So we know that the swan is just right next to another bird. And finally, we have a crow. The crow is the last bird that we are going to that is coming in to the verse. So okay, and just the last verse, the last verse is just fluff again. It tells that if we find a way, we'll get the key. That's all. All right, so what's the trick here? So we have again the piano that has silent keys and loud keys. All right. Now we have two type of birds, white birds and black birds. All right. So of course we have white keys. Well, these are stained red but white, and black keys. So what we want is we want to press the keys in the correct order to get the medallion. But which keys are we going to press? That's pretty simple. The tell is in the second verse. They talk about the silent dove. So that's pretty much your tell sign. The keys that are silent, as in Silent Hill, are the keys that we're gonna play first. So we know that the first key is the pelican, that is greedy. So is the only one that is alone. So it's this one. All right. Then we have the dove, which is the one that is the farthest away. I'm probably gonna mess it up. All right, but we'll come back to it. Then the dove, which is the farthest away, is this one. Then we have the raven, which flew above. All right. Then we have the swan, and then we have the crow. Oh, I fucked it up. I told you guys I was gonna fuck it up. Okay, so we'll go again. We got to reboot the puzzle. We got to get off and get back in. So it's the pelican, the dove, the raven, the swan, and the crow. So yeah, it took me 5 minutes to solve it now because I've first of all, I understand metaphors in English. Second, because I've done this puzzle like thousands of times now. But back in the day, we got stuck on that puzzle for 2 weeks. We only played on Saturdays, so that's why it took us 2 weeks. It took us one Saturday and then the next Saturday. And it was a conjoined effort. All of us resolved the puzzle. So it was a moment of victory. I remember we all got celebrated because we were fucking stressed. I remember that we tried time and time again, and we got really fucking stressed. So we got pissed off, and in the end we ended up playing something else. Don't remember what, honestly, but we remember we ended up playing something different, and we got next week. With a little bit more insight, a little bit more fresh mind, and we got it going. But yeah, that's just a little story, a little memory that I got with playing Silent Hill. So okay, something here is not ringing right. I think there's a boiler. There should have been a boiler room. Okay, I'm just gonna go to the rooftop because there's probably some stuff there that I haven't picked up, and if I don't pick it up now, it's going to be gone. Okay, so we are going up just to make sure that we don't lose any supplies or any consumables before triggering the next part of the level. And the thing is, I remember it's probably because of the I cannot get there. Okay, all right, it's fine. Another thing is that it's because the game is so claustrophobic that it triggers anxiety, at least on me. I am not claustrophobic at all. I actually feel I feel very comfortable in tight spaces. So I'm not claustrophobic at all, but the thick environment, the thick atmosphere of this game. Back at the day, right now we're used to 100-hour long games, and games that are like that you finish in months and months. But back at the day, this game used to it used to feel very long. But if you notice, we haven't been on this level just about half an hour. And the main reason why, very much we could have gone through faster than now, but we have stalled a lot just to discuss things, but and to soak in the atmosphere. But the game itself is not that long. It is probably, if you really don't know what you're doing, it can take up to 10 hours, most. But it's a game that speedrunners can finish in an hour and a half. So, okay, so now we're going to go to one of the most important parts of the whole series. So right now we already finished our main mission, or our main task, which was making the clock tower work again, because I assumed time was stopped or frozen, so now we got time going again. But what will happen? It's an old, very popular game, so you all know what's gonna happen next. I'm not gonna fight these fuckers. I really don't need to. Oh shit. Shit. So, what's gonna happen now? Okay, let's see. So I forgot what was next. Okay, so okay, yeah, we gotta go to the boiler room. There's a boiler. That's why that's what I was mentioning, that something didn't feel right, because there is one more floor below. Now that's where we gotta go. So I'm going to fight. Yeah, that's what I mentioned. Something didn't feel right, because indeed I was missing the clock tower. Sorry guys. Sorry that I looked the map a lot. It's funny because I'm pretty used to play games like Dark Souls. Dark Souls games altogether, they are pretty aimless. You don't have a map to guide you through, so you actually need to know the layout of the levels by heart. And I play a lot of Souls games. I'm a very huge fan of Dark Souls and FromSoft games. Last week I was playing, or 2 weeks ago, to be more precise, I was playing Kingsfield, the OG Dark Souls. And those are games that do not have any type of I mean, Kingsfield does have a map and does have a compass, and I cannot imagine anyone beating that game without them. But Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Demon Souls, and most Souls-likes worth worth their money are aimless. They do not have a map. You need to learn layouts by heart. So yeah, it's funny that I really don't. I cannot get through this game. That it has the layout is very simple without the map. Okay, so now, okay, the boiler room is working. Okay, so according to that note, we had to get the boiler room working for some reason. So let's see what's happened. What happens now? Okay, so now the clock tower should be open. We should be able to go through now. But what is in the clock tower? And to all of those who are very familiar with the game, all of you are very familiar with the game, you'll know where this is going. But back in 1999, when this game came out, this was very one of the weirdest things that a game could do. It wasn't uncommon because we had, for example, Castlevania Symphony of the Night that had a similar gimmick, also a Konami game. But yeah, so what's gonna happen now? Okay, so alright, so there is like a hidden passage here, right? Keep out, so there's a secret here, something that we should not. And you can hear the sirens again. The sound design. Sound design is key because you can see you can hear sirens playing in the distance. So what's going on is that at this moment, I if I was Harry, I would be scared the fuck out.
Where am I?
Hearing the sirens, you know the place is pretty much empty. Going through these.
Have I been here before?
Passage, and yeah, have I been here before? So I came through the other side, but what is the other side? So what it is here?
I don't remember this being here before.
And now we don't have any sound yet. And now we have this. The music starts kicking in, and there's some fucking freakish music. Yamaoka wouldn't use the same style anymore after this. The music on their later games are much better produced, and it is not as freakish and ghoulish as this. But once we enter back to the school, we are now on the other side. The other way. So we are back. We are back to the same place that we started, but it is not the same place that we started. Now, if you see, the place doesn't even make sense. Because the floor, for starters, the floor is made out of fence. So the fuck is going on here? And then this is the place from the way we came through, and see, there is nothing. There is no way out now. You see bloody fan. Harry comments that it's scary to go there because you can get sucked in. And it is the same place, but it's not the same place, and I can show you it is the same place. We got the same map, and the map is clean now. And we got all the same rooms that we had before, same layout. So now we are through the other side. What is the other side? We'll find out. Probably. So yeah, this is pretty freakish. Remember going through this the first time, it was pretty fucking disturbing. Okay, this item is. This is the okay. I want to comment on this. I actually watched a conference on the GDC talk about negative space and proper use of negative space to enhance the atmosphere and gameplay. So this is a very good. I won't say it's master. I think it's been done better after. In fact, on Silent Hill itself, it's been done better. But this is a very good use of negative space. This is pretty much an empty room, and you have a lot of gray, browns, and ochreish colors, and there's only one rounded pink, very bright, very pink object that you can make out. So you know that that pink object means something, right? And you can interact with it, and that's because the room is specifically designed to lead you through that item to make you understand you need that item. You need to interact with that item, or you're miss it. That is good use of negative design and of negative space on gaming, which is a little bit different than it is the same for those who know about photography and plastic arts and stuff. It is the same concept behind visual arts, but it is the same the same reasoning behind it, but it is not the same thing. It is not the same thing. On gaming, you want to guide your player through negative design. In fact, all of this game is negative design. The only way you can go through is open doors and whatever you can see. So pretty much, and this game is stated as one of the biggest. Also, we have new enemies, big cockroaches. For those of you who are afraid of insects, these guys are pretty harmless. So unless you let them, if you let them, they'll kill you. But if not, you can just kill them very easy. So they are not even a threat. They are just there to very much again, just to trigger you fucking. To trigger your radio and just scare the shit out of you. That's the only reason why they're here. Okay, so and you can see, you can hear the drumming, you can hear the intense drumming on the back, like machines. And this is a pretty industrial looking place, like a Hellraiser escape or a Nine Inch Nail album, kind of. In fact, it reminds me a lot of Quake, now that we mention Nine Inch Nails. Again, negative design. We'll see all these cards there, white cards. Then we have one yellow card that is not like the others. Although it is just poorly here, because we have these textures here that you think you can interact with and that you can't. So alright, so I'll heal myself with coffee. Oh my god. Yeah, and if you have not put two and two together, yes, those are kids. According to Konami and design documents and stuff, they used to look more like kids, but they had to censor them and change the design drastically for very obvious reasons. Plus, this game was released a year after, I think, Columbine, so yeah, it wouldn't be very very smart to just have Harry Mason shooting kids. So now the way is locked. So even though it's the same place, it's pretty much the same layout. We don't have it is not this, we don't have the same ease of navigation that we had before. So what are we gonna do? Of course, it is a little bit more complicated. It has some abstract things, but it's still not that complicated. Again, level is very short. If I would install, I could have already beaten it. And do you see what? There's another cool thing. Although when it comes to horror games, classic horror games, in fact, that I am more. I like 1999 horror games. I'm talking about modern games done over the shoulder. That are worth. Just kidding. I'm actually making a classic survival horror game. So, okay, so I like fixed camera angles better because it gives you a lot of freedom, even though it might sound contradictory, but it gives you a lot of artistic freedom, which is a little bit shown here. For example, there has a fixed camera angle. You mainly see what you need to see, which is the save point, stuff like that. So, but it has some really clever use of camera angles. For example, when I entered that hallway and I aimed, you could see how the camera kind of swayed a little bit and kind of like got crooked or got panned automatically. That kind of emphasized the panic of the moment, like how Harry, he's not a combat person, how he kind of gets into the thick of the moment, how he feels about aiming and shooting in the dark. Don't play the game with the lights off. You can actually, it's easier if you play with the lights off because enemies don't see you. That's a little something that you probably don't know. But yeah, don't play it in dark. That's pretty scary. Makes the game scarier. Okay, so that little gag there, it's something this game likes to do a lot, although it kind of doesn't. I don't know why Harry would think it's strange for a wheelchair to be at an elementary school. What if they have if it's an inclusive place and they have they have people with different capacities. I'm sorry. Or people in need of assistance are going to that school. So yeah, you would need wheelchairs, right? And pretty much it's pretty obvious that even though this was the school, it's not the school anymore. So I wouldn't call it a school anymore. But this is something that is very common. One of the most common gags or ongoing elements of the game is the gag about things out of place, like wheelchairs on schools and stretchers on and alleyways and stuff like that. So that's a very common topic. One of the let's say one of the tropes of the series. So Okay, this is also pretty freakish, and you can hear how the music is getting more intense and more intense as we get close. Although in reality nothing is gonna happen. This moment, this is the if you remember on the school we had this on a painting. Now it's there. Now it's reality. So we could say we are in the world of the painting, and we are on this freaky door, right? So yeah, kind of freaky. Okay, so we interact with the door in stone. So yeah, there's not a keyhole, just a, a slot for to slide something. So we got a card that kind of looks like that, right? And like a key. So it's pretty obvious, pretty easy to resolve. You don't really need. So it builds a lot of tension. Like, the fuck is going to happen here? In reality, nothing happens. There aren't even enemies on this hallway, if I remember. But there is something interesting about this. So check the map, okay? Pay attention to the map. Okay, so we are on the first floor, right? We go into the girls' room. It took a little bit longer to load. Did you notice that? Okay, so what could that be for? If we look at the map now, we are in a completely new room. We're on the second room, on the second floor now. So yeah, we got magically teleported to the second room. And there is no way forward. And that's all there was here. We got teleported to the second floor for pretty much bullets. There's nothing else, just map completion and bullets. Now we are back to where we were before, so we can go and explore. That's another thing that is just to help the player, because remember, this is the first time, and just go back to 1999 a little bit. This is the first time that you see this level. You still don't understand the logic and mechanics of Silent Hill. You don't know how the place works. We all just know it's all fucked up and warped and logics, and it's a pretty abstract place. So it was pretty freakish back in the day. Right now it can be even annoying. It can be very annoying. It is not. Back in the day it was freakish because this place doesn't play by the rules of normalcy. Okay, let me just comment on this, and I'll relate that to my favorite book. Okay, so this is, even though and it has a gore warning at the beginning, the game is actually compared to Resident Evil, for example, it's pretty light on the gore. But yeah, this just fucked up. This is pretty much the first the first and most straightforward gore scene that we'll see. And there is a lore behind that, but I won't go into that. Okay, so rules of normalcy. My favorite book, my favorite novel ever, is called House of Leaves. Probably a lot of you educated audience have already read it. If not, I highly recommend it, by Mark C. Danielewski. It is a book. I won't say a lot about it because I don't spoil it. Not that I care about spoilers, but you guys do. And I want you to read that novel. It is about a guy who is looking into a guy who comes across across papers or the work of another person talking about a house or a very famous case that nobody heard about before, that could not be validated fiction or not. But it's funny because it's actually two novels going at the same time. One is the story of the guy investigating these weird account of a place, of a house that is bigger inside than it is outside. And that's what the whole novel is about, and how the guy goes into madness just researching this topic and shit. And it's really good. So that came out later than Silent Hill. It came out in 2002. Silent Hill came out in the '99. But it has a lot of similar stuff. For example, like how houses work and how places work.
Daddy, help me. Daddy, where are you?
Cheryl!
Okay, and Silent Hill has a lot of gags with telephones, but this one, uh, again, it was the first time that it was used. And something funny about this, I'm pretty sure it was because of again technical limitations, but these phones are cordless. But I think they actually uh, they saw it. They saw the phones were lacking cords, and they thought it was going to make the game scarier if they just did it that way. So they just kept it that way instead of actually bothering and making the cords, which is fine. In fact, it works. All right, so. Okay, so now we're on the second floor, and let's see. Okay, we're gonna explore this first before I'll show you something cool, guys. Okay, I kind of panicked there, but there is one thing that you need to be very careful about when shooting things on Silent Hill is the the time during the staggering animation of the monsters, they're invincible. So you don't have to shoot as fast as you can, but you have to shoot with with a very specific rhythm. So it's pretty much just shoot, stop for like a second or two, and then shoot again. If not, just as you saw, you are going to waste ammo. I don't think there's nothing even relevant here, but yeah, we're just going to explore. Again, I'm not speed running. I'm just. If not, I would have finished the game already, and I don't speed run. I just want to soak in. I just want to show you guys a game that we all know, that we have played a lot, and many of us take for granted. So, one of the masterpieces, one of the master classes. on the general. See, that's the rhythm. And that's what I say. I like the combat in this game, even though some people say it's clunky and he's very, he feels dated. I disagree because with, of course, the obvious limitations and the obvious differences, it reminds me a lot of Dark Souls. It has a very specific cadence and very specific timing and some very specific idiosyncrasies. It's not as elaborate, of course. It's very simple. It's just aim and shoot. But and see again how the camera got. Okay, I think I got hurt. Yeah, I kind of fucked that up there. Yeah, so each combat scenario you gotta approach it with in a very specific, not very specific way, but you have to learn the patterns. You have to learn the cadence, the cadence of the fight. You gotta get into invincible animations and stuff like that. But again, it's not. And this is the music room. Remember, where we got the medallion with birds and shit. But yeah, so I like that. I like that type of combat. Now, there's something I want to comment. There is this again. I don't know if it was actually made consciously, or if it was just luck. But in a lot of the textures, you can see faces, and you can see like kind of like human figures and skulls and stuff. It's very, very, very subtle, and you have to look very hard and use a lot of imagination. There's this phenomena that makes people see things. Okay, let me go back a little bit. Makes you see things where there are none. It's a very known psychological phenomena. I'm pretty sure Team Silent did it on purpose, but you can see a lot of that here. For example, these doors. If you put some imagination on it, you see that the door texture, you have like two eyes looking up, and you have like a face, like a mouth, a big mouth, yelling in pain. All right, so remember, remember the gag that I mentioned you like about half an hour ago with the cat, right? So I mentioned that was a long gag. It was played on 2 acts. So here we got into that same room, the same room that we found the cat before. So we kind of know what to expect, right? We kind of know what to expect. We're expecting, because we hear the same. It's the exact same room. We see the exact same thing. Just, well, the locker below is bloodied, but we'll know what to expect, right? Well, remember, this place defies normalcy. And then we get this very well rendered picture of the bloodied locker, which is very disturbing. Again, this was a gag made on 2 parts to help you understand that we are fucked, and things are not playing by the same rules that they played before. And then you got a jump scare, because yeah, this game has jump scares. Of course it will have jump scares. Just keep in mind, this was before jump scares became cliche, so it was valid. It was still valid. Use them. it was still valid using them. It was before all those internet memes and shit. Also, now we gotta go all the way back. We gotta backtrack, and this specific backtrack is a little bit of board game design. I'm gonna call it for what it is. It is board game design. They just wanna make us go again to this room and fight enemies again that respawn. That they have no reason to respawn, but just spend their resources and hurt us. There was no reason, but they made us come back and backtrack. Rooms that we already cleared or rooms that we knew were safe are not safe anymore. And that was just padding, to be honest. I couldn't find any meaningful design decision behind that. Just padding. 2-3 minutes, in fact. So now the doors are locked. And again, we'll see these a lot. This is a very common trope of Silent Hill. We'll see a lot of locked doors and a lot of places we cannot access and stuff like that. So remember that room I mentioned that was meaningless and it had nothing special? Well, now it became this room. So he's talking about psychic kids. They said poltergeist phenomena that happens around some kids. That is important to the story, but it's very subtle, very subtle. The story of this game is very, as we like to call it on gaming lingo, meta, or you have to look on a lot of things to understand the overall picture. It is not very straightforward. It leaves a lot of interpretation and a lot of questions open for you to ask yourself. So that's one of them. It talks about kids with psychic powers. I dumbed it down for you guys because there is a lot behind that little fairy tale too, and that read that we had before. There is a lot of years and years and years of fun construction and deconstruction and analysis and stuff to get to that conclusion. So I just distilled years and years of Silent Hill fanboy ranting for you. But yeah, back in the day, I'm talking 2005, 2004. I used to even 2000s. What am I even talking about? Even 2000s, early 2000s. I used to visit a forum called the Silent Hill forums. I think they're dead now, and I was a very active member of that forum. And we used to talk about a lot about these games, lots and lots. We used to have very long, very drawn conversations about Silent Hill stuff. So I got lost a little bit. I think. Oh yeah, I remember now. Okay. Because back in the day, Silent Hill used to be cool. Before it was try to be turned into an action game, outsource. Konami outsourced it to Western teams, not even Americans. I think the first team that tried something with the franchise was Swedish, and yeah, they fucked it up. Anyways, okay, so now remember this, right? We're gonna use it here because it is a very small puzzle. What we want, look, here we can see a key just down below the hole, all the way down. You can see a key. So if we didn't, I didn't show you guys because I just went straight forward to block the hole, but the puzzle consists in this. That's a water tower, so we just use the water drainage to power some water and unclog the pipe. But if we don't put the boulder, it is not going to flush the key because the water will fall through that hole, so it won't reach the key and it won't flush it. So now what we gotta do, and again, I don't think this was done cleverly. This was done poorly, but it's some padding. We are now going to backtrack the whole fucking level. Yeah, I think this was not done. It was not done cleverly. There was no high game level design decision behind it. It was just done because, well, it was a very early 3D game. So, but it's fine. I forgive him. It's just one flaw in a very masterfully made game. And it's not even that bad. We just gotta go this way and then go to the corridor. Because there was a place there that we didn't even investigate it. Oh shit. That's why I use the map a lot, because I got lost. Again, the freakish, ghoulish music. And you're like, fuck, every time that you go to the courtyard, every time you'll get a sense of dread and a feeling of something's gonna go wrong, gonna be very, very wrong. Although nothing really happens. No enemies spawn, no boss fights, no nothing. Yet. Just a key. But we keep hearing. We keep hearing the banging and the paranoid music. Okay, so we gotta go back up, and we gotta go back to the place we were before we trained the key. Okay. Okay. Something that's funny about Silent Hill is and especially compared to Resident Evil, is the fact that you find way more ammo in this game. Even though you are just going through a destitute town, a ghost town. I'm gonna get fucked. Yeah, you find way more ammo in this game than you do on Resident Evil. Even though Resident Evil, especially 2, you go. Resident Evil 1 is fine. I mean, I guess it's you're just going to the Spencer Mansion, but Resident Evil 2 is mainly on a on a police station. So you'd imagine there would be a lot of ammo and weapons and shit. And here in our ghoulish, hellish town, you'll find way more ammo. Although, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, I think this game has dynamic difficulty, so I think depending on how you do it, it gives you more health items and bullets, or not, or I think 3 did it, but yeah, it has something going on like that. Okay, just for the sake of completion, I'm going to come back, but I'm gonna come in, and then are we meant to? Okay, we are just going to unlock this door because I know we will need to cross it. So right now we're back to the boiler room. This was our destination all along. I think there's a save point here. I am getting a lot of shotgun shells, but I haven't gotten the shotgun. Should I have already gotten it? Damn, I'm just playing this game and I forgot. Just played this level not too long and I forgot. Okay, let me just review the map. I want to make sure I didn't skip it. I think we're gonna get it here then. No. Okay, this is another puzzle. This is more annoying, to be honest. I don't want to keep you guys waiting with me, so I am going to Google it. And I want to make sure I didn't skip the shotgun, so just give me a moment. I'm gonna cheat a little bit. Oh fuck. Okay, I'm going to put the start screen so you see Harry's beautiful face. Okay, boys, I did fuck it up. I need to get the shotgun, and I need to get a shotgun because if not, the next fight is gonna be impossible. And yeah, I'm kind of it's kind of weird because I played this level about 2 weeks ago, so I find it kind of funny that I actually missed it. But it's not far away from here. We gotta go. All we gotta do is gotta go to the boys' bathroom on the first floor, and it should be there. Wait, no, this is not the bathroom. So yeah, I did fuck it up. Sorry, guys. If now you know if you're playing Silent Hill for the first time, remember to grab the shotgun, which is here. Again, I was too absorbed on telling you guys about other stuff that I completely missed it. And you know what? Now that we're here, we're gonna save. Let's just see how far we are from the safe room. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna go safe because we are going to have a difficult fight. I recommend you, if you are playing on an emulator, PlayStation Classic or PlayStation 3, create multiple save files. Don't rely just on one save file. Otherwise, you can get into trouble. For example, missing vital items or getting into unwinnable situations. Games from this time period, do like make you to set you into unwinnable places, so don't be that guy. I went the other side. Dumbass. Did I? No, I'm fine. Wait, what? Okay, so again, the puzzle. Okay. Fucked it up. Never mind, I'm fine. Now the thing is, this puzzle is kind of randomized, so if you don't do a specific solution, it can actually you can spend a lot of time just trying to figure it out. So this one I cheated. I got to admit it. I looked up the solution on the wiki. Sorry to disappoint you guys. Okay, so we gotta equip our newly found weapon, and we are going to have our very first boss fight, because this game does have boss fights. Um, and this guy is pretty difficult if we do not have the right tools. Oh shit. Okay, I'm getting kinda cocky. Oh yeah, so bosses in Silent Hill 2 can kill you. Last time that I fought him, I didn't have such a hard time. Let me tell you. So yeah. If you guys you're seeing this monster, you say, you know what? This enemy kind of looks like a dick, and I'm not talking about like a dickish. It looks like an actual phallus. Well, he kind of is. It is. There is a prison like that. Very fucked up prison, by the way. So, yeah. You have a point there. There you go. And that is, for those who haven't watching since the beginning. I know none of you, if someone is watching, but yeah, this was the girl that put us into this situation.
What was that? Who in the hell was that?
Dick monster. It was a dick monster. So we are back. You can see the bells tolling. For whom the bell tolls, you can hear the bells tolling on the background. And we got the key of the custodian. We're back. We are back to the school, but now it's not even night. Now it's light. It's daylight again. Because there is a little secret. It's not only 1, 2 worlds. It is actually 3 different worlds. The other, and the other. But if you say, okay, we can go and explore and see if we have any new items or anything, you can't. Everything is blocked. So doors jammed. You can actually go through. So I won't even bother. Just wanted to show you that you can actually go nowhere from here. You can't go to the freakish courtyard anymore. The only place you can go is back. Everything's blocked. Oh, not the infirmary. Sorry. Save points are not locked. Okay, guys. I'm gonna take a small break. I'm going to go drink a glass of water and I'll be back in 5 minutes. I do not have nice music overlays or stuff like that because I'm still brand new to. Well, not quote unquote new. I'm not really, but I didn't prepare all that. So I'll be back. I'll leave you for a moment. Thank you.